My name is Dr. Tomasz Sykot, and it's my privilege to serve as MC for this evening. For the past 4 years, I shared office space with Mike. We gather tonight with gratitude and with heavy hearts to remember and honor Dr. Mike Manio. As we begin this evening of remembrance, we are pleased to welcome Professor Chak-Xiang Lau, Dean of the LKS Faculty of Medicine, Mr. Romulo Victor Israel Jr., Consul General of the Philippines in Hong Kong, members of Dr. Manio's family joining us online from the Philippines and the United States, and many colleagues, students, friends who have come together this evening. So we also acknowledge with deep respect that Dr. Manio has already been remembered in other gatherings, including at the Philippine Consulate General last Sunday, and that his passing was marked with a moment of silence during the lecturers' town hall meeting with the dean. But tonight, we come together not only to mourn his loss, but also to celebrate his life, his many contributions, and the lasting impact he has had on colleagues, students, friends, and all who knew him. To help you reflect on his remarkable life and his legacy, let me briefly recall some of his milestones in his professional life. Michael's journey began in the Philippines when he earned his Bachelor of Science in Biology from the Angels University Foundation in 1998. Even then, his leadership and promise were already evident, as he was recognized as the most outstanding student for leadership and named a finalist for the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines. He then pursued medicine, completing his Doctor of Medicine in 2003 at Angels University Foundation and Makati Medical Center. His commitment to learning did not stop there. He went on to complete his Master in Health Professions Education, gathering his degree in 2008 from the University of Santo Tomas Graduate School. Later, as HKU President Scholar, he earned his PhD in vascular pharmacology from the University of Hong Kong in 2014. And in 2025, he completed the postgraduate certificate in academic practice and attained fellowship of the Higher Education Academy. Michael's academic career reflects his deep commitment to teaching, mentorship, and service. He began as college instructor at Holy Angel University and later served there as an assistant professor in the College of Nursing and College of Education. He also contributed as the guest lecturer in School of Medicine, helping to shape the learning of future health professionals. After relocating to Hong Kong, Michael continued to build his career that combined scholarship, teaching, and leadership. At HKU, he served in a range of roles across teaching, research, and administration, including as program director for Empower U and program manager for the Emergency Medicine Unit. He later contributed to Hong Kong Metropolitan University as a lecturer at LIPAS before returning to HKU in September 2022 as a lecturer and course coordinator in the School of Biomedical Sciences. In that role, he coordinated courses including physiologic basis of health and disease and biomedical technologies and biomechanics. He also served on the judging panels for the Li Shufan Medical Foundation Prize and the Janet McClure-Kilburn Prize in Physiology, and he took on the important responsibility of senior resident tutor. Michael's excellence extended beyond the classroom and beyond the university. His work in research, public health, and community service was recognized through numerous honors and nominations, including the Young Investigator and Scientist Award at HKU Institute of Cardiovascular Science and Medicine, the most outstanding presentation at HKU's Research Postgraduate Symposium, and nominations for the Outstanding Young Man of the Philippines, CNN Hero of the Year, and the Presidential Award for the Public Education Health. He also took part in the Guinness World Record CPR Marathon Relay and received the AmCham Woman of Influence Award for his advocacy and public service. But perhaps one of the most remarkable expressions of Michael's commitment to others was his public health platform, Health Talk by Dr. Mike on YouTube. through this channel, he reached more than 787,000 followers, offering accessible medical information, public health updates, and support to overseas workers and the public in Hong Kong. In doing so, he showed that education could reach far beyond the lecture hall, and that knowledge, when shared generously, can truly serve the community. Really remarkable life of that person. But before we proceed with the program, I would like to invite you to join me in the observing 1 minute of silent reflection in memory of Dr. Michael Manio. If you can stand up, may I ask you? Thank you very much. Please take a seat. So this evening is a space and time for remembrance, tribute, and shared reflections. We are grateful to our speakers for being here to share their memories, and we warmly welcome others to do the same. If you wish, we invite you to share a thought, a story, a moment that reflects Dr. Manio mean to you and to your community. I will ask you later for that. But now, we'll now hear from Mr. Romulo Victor Israel Jr., Consul General of the Philippines Consulate in Hong Kong. Please.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Philippine Consulate General in Hong Kong, I'm here to pay tribute to a good friend and one of the pillars of the community, Dr. Michael Manio, or as we call him, Doc Mike. I'm not here to share my personal memories of Doc Mike. Since I came here last year, I only had interaction with him, I guess, twice. But I heard a lot about him from the community. And I'm here this afternoon with one of his closest friends. And if you want to know more stories about Doc Mike, I'm sure she'll be happy to share with you all the moments that they were working together for our community. I'm here to pay tribute before you to our dear friend and community leader, and I would say champion of the community, Doc Mike. And as mentioned earlier, there was a mass celebrated last Sunday at the Consulate General, and I also gave a few words after the mass on behalf of the consulate in remembrance of Doc Mike. And I would again say to this community here in HKU that Doc Mike meant what Doc Mike meant to us. Doc Mike is a doctor, and I compared him to, or was a doctor, I compared him to our hero, national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, who was an eye surgeon. And like him, our hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, left the country to pursue further academic studies in Europe, in Spain and France, Germany. And he also, like Doc Mike, lived and worked here in Hong Kong. If you happen to be passing by or walking along Diaguilar Street, you probably would not notice because it's a very small marker, but there's a marker, red one, put up by the I think the antiquities department to honor the memory of Dr. Rizal, who opened a clinic, ophthalmic clinic, along that street. So for us, Doc Mike was like Jose Rizal. He blazed a trail for all of us, especially for Filipinos in Hong Kong. As we know, we have about 230,000 Filipinos here. Most of them are in the domestic sector. And Doc Mike uh, made himself available to our community. Despite his busy schedule, he would give his time to lend an ear, give advice to our community. As mentioned also earlier, he started this YouTube series, lecture series. On top of that, he also co-founded the Empower You. I don't know if you are familiar, which catered to Filipino and other foreign domestic workers to give them a chance to study and make their lives better through education. So for us, Doc Mike is very much like our hero. And the Philippines considers our foreign workers as our modern day heroes. We call them Bagong Bayani. And the embodiment of that is no less than Doc Mike, a modern day hero. So he excelled in all the things he went into. And he did not, of course, lived for himself despite the honor, accolades, and success that he attained. But he offered what he could, gratis et amore, for the community. So because of that, we truly are so sad that he left us so early, too soon. So we lost a pillar in the community. We lost a champion. We lost a torchbearer. But his example will always live in our hearts and in our minds. Like Jose Rizal, he will be remembered, perhaps not put on a pedestal or a monument, but in the hearts of all the thousands of Filipino workers that he touched, he will live forever. Uh, I also am, by the way, a member of the Knights of Rizal. I don't know if you're familiar. The Knights of Rizal is the only one of two Philippine organizations, civic organizations with legislative charters. And we have a motto that goes like this, non omnis moriar, which means not everything in me will die. So perhaps it's a fitting tribute as well for Dr. Manio, Dr. Mike, that whatever he did, whatever he said, whatever he accomplished, and for himself, for his family, and most of all for the community, will never die.
Thank you very much. May I now invite Professor Lau, Dean of the LKS Faculty of Medicine, HKU, to share a few words with us.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Good evening, all. I'm sure we're all sitting here, or me standing here, with a very heavy heart. People say that because of what I do as a doctor, I must be very used to situations like this, must be used to leaving, friends and colleagues. But I can tell you that, in fact, irrespective of how many patients I have managed and how many patients I have failed to save in the past, nothing will actually make me get used to this emotions of losing someone, especially he is someone who is part of the family. We have just heard from Thomas and Consul General what Michael has actually done for all of us. I would like to ask all of you to join me in thanking Michael for everything that he has done for the faculty. He was our lecturer in the School of Biomedical Sciences. He taught our students anatomy and physiology, but he taught our students much more than this, because through the anatomy teaching that he did, he also taught our students how to value lives. His work in the body donation program had actually touched a lot of our students' hearts, as well as the hearts of the community. I actually have not worked with Michael previously, but I have actually spoken to him, and I've also heard our students and colleagues speaking to me about him, how our students found him one of the most approachable teachers, how our colleagues found him one of the most affable colleague and friendly person to speak to. I remember one time he actually came to our office and spoke about the work that he did actually for the local Filipino communities, how his work, his weekend counseling sessions, seminars of health talks, etc., have helped not hundreds, but thousands of local community of Filipino colleagues. And I also remember one evening when I actually visited the Pathfinder group, who actually helped not only the local Filipino workers, but other workers from different countries within this region. How Michael actually sprang up from behind, patting my shoulder, welcoming me, telling me the good work of the Pathfinder. And then how I spoke to the Pathfinder colleagues, and then subsequently learned that not only did he do so much for the local Filipino workers, but everybody else as well in Hong Kong. So I would like to ask all of you to join me in thanking Michael for having been a good citizen, a good teacher, and a good friend, and a very good family member of this Hong Kong U medical faculty community. We are here to mourn his loss, but we've also just heard earlier on that we should also celebrate his life. We should also remember everything that he has done for all of us, for not just the Hong Kong community, but for the larger community through his public health education series. We should all try our very best to follow his footsteps and do what we must do for mankind. And with this, I thank you very much for coming to this memorial session. And I thank you for remembering Michael. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you very much. I now invite Professor Michael Hauser, Director of the School of Biomedical Sciences, to share a few words.
Good evening, distinguished guests, colleagues, students, and friends. Thank you for gathering here today as we come together in remembrance of Dr. Michael Manio, a lecturer in the School of Biomedical Sciences and a scholar of anatomy and physiology. We meet many people during the course of every day, and each person can leave a small impression on us. But only very few have the gift and the talent to transform lives. And Dr. Mike was one of those special people. With his kindness, his intelligence, and his sense of humor, he managed to touch and transform the thousands of lives that he intersected with. In his academic work, Mike brought clarity, rigor, and devotion to anatomy and physiology. His gross anatomy teaching reflected his commitment to helping students understand the human body with both scientific precision and respect. In the classroom, he was known for his warmth, patience, and sincerity. He inspired students not only through knowledge, but also through the example of his character, reminding us that true education is shaped as much by humanity as by scholarship. I'm told by colleagues that Mike had an incredible gift. He could remember the name of almost every single student who walked through his classroom doors. In a university as large and fast-paced as ours, that's not just a feat of memory, that is a profound act of caring. It tells every student you are seen, you matter, and you belong here. A great scientist expands the boundaries of human knowledge, but Mike was also a truly great educator who expanded the boundaries of human empathy. Through initiatives like the Body Donation Program and the Lingering Love series for ethnic minorities in Hong Kong, he reminded us that medicine is not just about treating patients in hospitals, it is also about uplifting the most vulnerable in our community. He also gave generously to the wider public through his longstanding support for Filipino domestic workers and other underserved groups in Hong Kong. Through initiatives such as Empower You and the Domestic Workers Empowerment Project, he helped create platforms for health education, rights awareness, and community empowerment. His work reached beyond medicine, connecting knowledge with lived experience and making learning more accessible to those who needed it most. His passing is a profound loss for our school and to all who had the privilege of knowing him. Yet even in our grief, we can take comfort in the legacy Doc Mike leaves behind, one of scholarship, compassion, service, and humanity. That legacy will continue to live on in the students he taught, the colleagues he supported, the communities he served, and the many people he inspired through his work. Today, as we gather in his memory, we do so with gratitude for all that he gave and with sorrow for all that has been lost. May we remember Mike with respect and affection. May we carry forward the example he set through his kindness, his generosity, and his commitment to others. And may his memory continue to inspire us in our work, in our service, and in our lives. Thank you, Doc Mike, for showing us all how to lead with a kind heart.
Thank you very much, Professor Heuser. Thank you for that. And Just the anecdotal proof. I know that it's not very common in scientific community, but actually Mike did remember the names of his students. As we're just discussing, we're sitting desk to desk and we're discussing different maybe issues, sometimes some problems, maybe some funny stories. He actually always remember the names of the students. So right now, I just would like to invite a colleague of Mike, the principal lecturer at the School of Biomedical Sciences, Dr. Jian Yang.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you all you guys coming to honor Mike and respect Mike in this memorial. I'm here to share some of my experience firsthand with Mike, being his colleague, close colleague for the past 4 years. First and foremost, I think Mike, to all the team that works with him, he's such a good friend. And that's making me feel like the 4 years, I felt like I know him much longer than 4 years. He's like such an old friend. I thought I must have known him for decades, but the 4 years just passed too quickly. I always remember because his smile is so infectious. Every time I met him in the corridor, in his office, in the classroom, I will always feel joyful and calm. And the conversations we had, doesn't matter whether it's because for education, chit chat, gossips, or research scholars, always pleasant. Is somebody who never say no to a friend in need. Because there's so many teaching very heavy schedules of our teaching team. Sometimes our colleagues may have some emergencies or medical issues that they may not be able to do some works or some knowledge exchange events. And when you ask Mike for help, he never says no. And he put his whole heart in it, whole passion. You felt that passion. I still remember that Mike invited us annually to his flat in the college to have a Christmas dinner. And we share secrets, we share our common joyful hobby, like watch collection, like a refrigerator of makeups. All these memories, I want to share 3 memories that leave the most impact on me. The first one was back then, everybody know that he did so many things for the community, for the general public, for the ethnic minorities. But I know it firsthand because back then he was having this program collaborating with RTHK3 for a series of interviews and talk shows to help increase the health literacy of the public and also of the ethnic minorities. And he invited me to give a talk about, because we were teaching CPRS block. I know if you are here, you know what is CPRS block. And he said whether I can help with having an episode talking about cardiovascular diseases. And for that, I did a lot of research on the ethnic minority situation here in Hong Kong and learned something that I didn't pay attention, probably not enough, about the situations of cardiovascular diseases in the ethnic minorities community in Hong Kong. And through that talk, I still remember that day I drove with Masayo together because we're both in that show. And we had this discussion, a fun discussion with him. And he's the one, like the interviewer, and the interview is like a talk show. And it's in a very light way, we talk about the challenges that we face. And this is one of the fractions that through actions, he cared about the community. And through that, I know that there's mounting challenges for us medical health teachers and also workers to care more about ethnic minorities, especially because we have 3 to 4% of ethnic minorities, which did not reflect on our teaching, everyday teaching. And for us, teaching anatomy and physiology, and this is quite a big fraction we cannot overlook. So then that led to our another collaboration with Lingering Love series, which touched a lot of Filipino workers and the community. And I'm privileged to be part of it. And I think some of the students here, thank you so much for helping with this projects. And then your help is invaluable and makes Mike's work whole. And we had this series in our spare time during weekends, have lectures and workshops for our community. And this led to another adventure that we had together. We're thinking of touching more people in the community with our body donation program. Every year we have the body donation day. We treat this, me and Mike and all our team treat this as a platform, not just promoting body donation, but as a platform to promoting health and the science of and knowledge of life and death, and bringing Mike's expertise and his contribution to our body donation program is such a great success. And through that, Mike showed us his empathy and showed us how much he contributed to the community. And everything, we work together every day, saw him every day, a joyful experience. But I didn't realize until it was too late. That was on 19th of July, while we were all as colleagues, went to the ceremony. Filipino General Consulate held the service. And we were there when all the people there start to sing and people start to cry, and all the workers there start to cry. And that leaves an impact. That's the evidence that Mike's experience, Mike's life touched people. People were chanting his name. And then that moment, I realized the impact of one man who can touch a lot. Mike lived his life to the fullness. And I am so grateful and privileged. And I think everyone who crossed paths with him should be very grateful and privileged to be part of his fullness of life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, JY. Thank you very much for this sharing. Yes, we know Mike also not only as a professional with this impressive CV, but also as the human, as our colleague. And as you mentioned, his love to good watches, Rolexes, his love to the good brands, of course. His love to travel. Oh, we had long hours. I shouldn't say it in front of Cora, but we had around long hours of discussing actually our travels around the world. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, JY. And right now, I would like to invite Professor Julie Chen, Director of the Medical Ethics and Humanities Unit, to offer her reflection on Michael's life and work.
Thanks, Tom. I feel very privileged to be among all of Michael's friends and people who loved, respected him, and had all different kinds of interactions with him. I've learned a lot already about the kind of person he is, and I hope I can just share and illuminate a little piece of my interaction with him. I think, as we all know, he was a really kind and dedicated person who was most of all humble. I would say he's a very humble soul, and every interaction I've had with him has been very self-deprecating and generous and kind. And I think every adjective that you can think of that is on the positive side you could use to describe Mike. He was giving of his time, of his energy, of his expertise, as a doctor, as a scientist, as a teacher, as an advocate, and I think also as a friend, not just when he was invited, but whenever he felt he could. He came to our unit because of his expertise and his experience in the social justice field. And we thought that he would be an ideal person to help drive this teaching program forward. And the thing is, he came because of his experience and connections from his work with Empower You, but the very experience and the connections that he had came from the deep-seated belief that he had and the internal motivation that he had to drive this forward to make a positive change in society. I met Michael a long time ago, I think back in 2014-15. So before he's done all of these incredible things that I've since learned about. And I met him because he invited me to come and do a health talk with him at the Hong Kong U main campus for the Domestic Worker Empowerment Project, as it was called then. As it was, I was kind of humming and hawing as I had just met him. He was an acquaintance. Didn't know him that well. And the session was on a Sunday, and I had young kids, and they had lots of activities and stuff. But you know, with Michael, we know that he can be convincing in a very gentle, polite, you know, self-deprecating way. And before you know it, before you even know that he's convincing you, you've been convinced. And it's impossible, right, to say no to Michael. And I have to say that I'm so glad I went. Gave the health talk. It was really gratifying, not for the talk, but it's really aftermath. It was the aftermath. It was afterwards, seeing how he interacted with everyone. Everyone wanted to talk to him. They want to talk to me. They want to talk to him about everything. So he knew people's names. He knew their personal stories. He answered questions about everything, mostly not to do with the health talk, but everything else. He had patience. He personalized whatever information he had. He would follow up on things. And, you know, I have to say that he was just Dr. Mike, right? And he was one of the gang. And I think that's what really impressed me about what he did. It really came from the heart, and people can see when things come from the heart. And I was truly inspired. I brought this with me. I don't know if anybody knows what this is. It is a bamboo rain stick, and it's something that Michael was responsible for me acquiring, and it reminds me of him. That's why I brought it. I received this bamboo rain stick at an event that Michael invited me to in June 2015. It was a tribute concert and a celebration by the Domestic Worker Empowerment Project for domestic workers in Hong Kong, and it was sponsored by the Philippine Consulate General in celebration of the 117th anniversary of the proclamation of the Philippine independence. So you can see this is a long hollow tube made of bamboo. Inside there are small pebbles or beans, I'm not sure what it is, but on the inside it's also carved with small pins or thorns that are arranged kind of helically inside. So when you turn the stick upside down, the pebbles fall to the other side, and it makes a sound reminiscent of rain falling. And so thus it's a rain stick, and it's played in the belief that it could bring about rain. And so I was thinking about Michael over the weekend, thus the rain, okay? But I guess from that day, 12 years ago, when he first invited me to give that health talk to today, I have to say Michael is my bamboo rain stick. He's someone who brings rain to refresh, to nourish, and to better his students, his peers, and those who are fortunate to have had any encounter with him. And I think, and all of us here are really profoundly blessed to have known him and will forever carry his memory with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you very much for that. May I ask Dr. Pauline Luke, the senior lecturer in the School of Medical Ethics and Humanities Unit, to share her memories.
Good evening. I think everyone here it's all very heavy-hearted to process the passing of Michael. I still remember the evening I saw the colleagues who received the call about the passing of Michael at the college. I didn't expect he was passing. I have hope that he's safe, he's okay. And then after I received the message, I actually contact the domestic worker I met a few days before the passing, because Michael invites 2 domestic workers to come to our common core courses to share the health inequality of domestic worker in the community. And I sent a message, and one of the domestic worker don't know what's happening and asked me what's happened. I don't dare to tell the truth. I don't know how to inform them because I know he's so beloved by all of them. And I saw the work he has done in the past few years. As a colleague, I sometimes, because I work with a game design for health inequality, I always ask Michael, can you help to invite some domestic worker to our class? As all the speakers said, he never say no. He always smile and then say, hey, when is it? Tell me the information, send me the information. And he will prepare very detailed background, give me all the necessary details, give me all the contact number. I was expecting I will be the one to contact those people and make the arrangement. It's because it's my class. But eventually, he will show up together with the domestic worker, come to the class, sit in there, accompany them, support them to ensure their unheard voice is being heard. To let all our students understand the situations. I think this is how dedicated he is in his teaching. I actually has asked him, are you tired working every day, including weekend, Sunday, and running all the classes? He told me, yes. He was tired. But he keep the smile, and he has his caring spirit with him because he believed this is very meaningful, and he keep going on. Beyond working as teachers in the faculty, we are also classmates of the PCAP, the Professional Certificate in Academic Practice. I still remember in the last semester when we are taking the class, Michael always has like a lot of teaching in the faculty. Sometimes he cannot come to class, but sometimes he'll come to the class right after his teaching. And he's so dedicated. And he actually is really, really hardworking. He do a lot of project and presentation with me, and we share moments of laughter and joy. We enjoy very much. And I had the privilege to observe his teaching. I can see how he was loved by his student. And his class is so interesting and humorous. And he provides so much information that let students understand more. And we also facilitate interprofessional education sections in the evenings for the past few years. And I can see that he always come early, stay, talk to the students very nicely. And just a month before his passing, we are planning a new initiative in IPE. We were so excited to bring real life experience to students, and his legacy will continue. And the idea we brainstorm will carry forward. So I hope our students will enjoy the future IPE sections that Michael contributed. And also as fellow senior residential tutors of different university housing, I exchange ideas with Michael from time to time. We support each other. We share information. We share so many meaningful connections rooted in mutual respect and shared purpose. We collaborate. And as I mentioned, the last time I met him was the Thursday, and his passing is on Sunday. And I remember on that day, he came with the domestic worker, sit down in the classroom, have a chit chat with me, so casually, lightly, and we talked to each other. And on that day, I was so busy because I was preparing class, and he has a Zoom call. He stepped out of the classroom without saying goodbye. And that's the last chance. I cannot say goodbye to him. I text him after the class, thank you for his effort, but I don't have chance to say goodbye. And actually on that day, that Sunday, I visit the village where he lived. But I didn't say hi to him. And then that evening, he passed. So I think, Michael, I know that you're watching us smile, and your life even is brief and is truly meaningful. And I know you'll be missed by thousands of people. And your YouTube videos and the Facebook videos will be watched again and again by many people and help the domestic workers to have healthier life. Your smile, your generosity, your compassion remains with us always. And we dearly miss you and hope you rest in peace in heaven.
Thank you, Pauline. So this is our way right now to say thank you, Michael, and goodbye. I would like to invite Professor Sophia Chan, College Master of the Phoenix UN College, Jockey Club Student Village 4, to speak about Michael's contributions to the college life and our students' community.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think it is in my capacity as the master of College 1 of the Hong Kong UJC Student Village 4 to maybe offer, to you a bit about Michael's life, at the college. It is obviously with profound sadness that me and our tutorial team that I stand before you today to remember our dear colleague, Michael. Just listening to many of the earlier speakers, we know Michael was an exceptional teacher, a mentor, colleague, and also friend whose life embodied compassion, service, as well as excellence. Throughout his career, I think he's very dedicated himself, not only to advancing education and research, but also to nurturing students. Many of you are here today, and building a caring community. His impact extends far beyond the classroom and will continue to be felt by everyone his life touched. I still remember when I first interviewed Michael for the position of senior resident tutor. From that first meeting, he spoke not only about the job, but also what he hoped to contribute to the college, and the kind of community that he wanted to help build, one in which students would feel supported, included, and also at home. So he mentioned, that many times. And at the time, I thought, probably he's not from Hong Kong. So therefore, making the college feeling at home is really, really important to him. It was clear to me that Michael was not simply applying for a position. He is actually offering his heart, his time, and also his commitment to our students. As a senior resident tutor of College One, Michael did far more than looking after the students. He actually created a home away from home, which he actually told me this is what he wanted the college to be during his interview. And that's why we have actually also used this slogan to print on one of our tote bags. So together with the team, we built a community where people felt they belonged, where every student was seen, heard, and also valued. Michael actually has a remarkable ability to make people feel comfortable, whether they had known him for years or just met him for the first time. He is also very efficient, effective, working with the entire tutorial team, and also with carrying out the different, or in fact, the many, many duties in the college. Many educators teach with knowledge, but I heard from previous speakers that Michael taught with compassion. He believed that education was not only about the mind, but also about caring for people. He invested his time very generously, not only at work, but also at the college. He listened patiently, encouraged quietly, and also celebrated the growth of every student. These qualities cannot be measured, yet they leave the deepest and most lasting impact. Being a founding team of the College of Hong Kong UJC Village 4, we benefited in Michael's dedication and also innovative ideas in making the college life vibrant and also memorable, and aligning with our motto, home away from home. The college have a focus of community work, nurturing students with leadership, as well as student well-being. So this philosophy of our college was very well deliberated through Michael and our whole team. His care did not stop at the college gates, as many of you have already alluded to. Michael devoted himself to grassroots community work, health promotion, and serving the underserved communities. He believed that knowledge carried a responsibility to improve lives, to reduce inequality, as well as to give hope, which is most important. That belief guided everything he did, whether in the classroom, in the college, or in the wider community, such as engaging and organizing health promotion activities for the Filipino community. I remember I attended, some of those activities that always happen on Sunday, and the whole college hall was full of the Filipino domestic helpers, and many of them are obviously, his friends. So with all of us, his passing has left an emptiness that words cannot fully express. We miss his generosity, his encouragement, and also simply his presence among us. Yet, even in our grief, we are here to celebrate his life on this very occasion and hope we will remember that a person's legacy is not merely measured by the length of life, but by the lives that they have touched. Michael touched countless lives with kindness, humility, wisdom, and also unwavering generosity. Those lives, in turn, would continue to carry forward the values that they lived by. To Michael's family, friends, colleagues, students, and everyone who loved him, please know that you are not alone. The College One family grieves with you, and we will continue to honor Michael, lift his spirits by caring for one another in the way he cared for all of us. And to Michael, thank you for your dedication, friendship, your compassion, your service, and also your unwavering belief in people. Me and Anna will continue to put in the application that we have supported you for the humanitarian award, although it was not submitted. But we will work in submitting them. You will always remain a cherished member of College One, now called the Phoenix Yun College. And we continue to be members of the College One or Phoenix Yun family, and you will never be forgotten. May you rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Chan. And finally, we'll hear from Ms. Anna Maria Kutateladze, resident tutor of College One, who will share her reflections on Michael.
I didn't want to go after my master because I knew that she will make me cry a lot. So when I saw my name after the master, I thought probably I will cry from very beginning. I've been thinking a lot how to start this. Do I start with how Michael was, how much he did for others, how kind he was, how loved he was. But then I realized that maybe the most simple way is just by starting how I met him, because meeting Michael was a life-changing event for me. I met him within my a few 2 weeks in Hong Kong. I was new, I was lost, and I was trying to survive the teaching staff seminar. So during the coffee break, when everybody's having this, awkward small talks and you don't know what to do and you're just staring at the coffee machine and having this chit chats, that was us. And then I heard his accent and I recognized his Filipino accent. And because I am a big fan of the Philippines, and that year I was going to Manila, I already had my tickets purchased. So I asked him, "Are you from the Philippines?" And I had no idea that this simple question would start a big chapter of our friendship and collaboration. Because that same semester, Michael was appointed as senior resident tutor, or as we would call him, our SRT, in College 1 at Jockey Club Village 4. So he reached out to me and he told me, "Anna, why don't you try to apply for a resident tutor's role?" So I did. And after the interview, he explained the process to me, that the village actually has 4 colleges and they would do a lucky draw for the approved candidates. And he told me very proudly that he won, meaning that when they drew my candidacy, he was the one to win, to have me in his team. But I told him, "No, Michael, it's not you who won. It's me. I'm the lucky one and I get the chance to work with you." Because Michael was truly a good leader. In most teams, it's almost normal for people to have some negativity towards management. This is very common. It's basically a running joke, especially in the corporate world or academic landscape. But with Michael, it was very different because he never used his leadership against us. He was very patient. He never expressed his frustration with his team, and the students, even when we deserved it, because sometimes our residents or even us, we would do bizarre things, but he was so calm and patient always. And the maximum that we could receive from him was "Jesus!" exclamation mark in the group chat. This was the worst expression we could get from him. So on the contrary, he always tried to support us and give us the spotlight. He pushed our tutorial team to give speeches, to organize events, to get on stage, and he kept telling us directly this way: "I already had enough spotlight, so now it's time for you to get it." He celebrated our achievements even when they were small, and somehow he made us feel like this is a big deal. So when someone would win an award for a conference or for something at the university, he was the one to send this news in our group chat and say, "Look, Sue, you won this," or "Angie won that." And somehow he always celebrated these very small milestones and made us feel proud of things that our teammates did. And maybe if not him, we might otherwise have overlooked these small achievements. And living in the same building as your teammates and your students is a very unique environment. In a way, we can say that we share the household. And in that kind of setting, a lot of sensitive moments can arise. And Michael was extremely responsive to this sensitivity and gentle in dealing with it. He always found a way to handle things with such delicacy to make sure that no one is feeling uncomfortable or disrespected, especially when it came to our team or the residents of our college. When Michael passed away, it was shocking, and I tried to play some mind games with myself. I thought if I focus on some negative aspects of his personality, it will make it easier for me to stop crying. But I couldn't remember anything. In 3 years under his leadership, I didn't have a single negative memory of him mistreating me, or him mistreating our teammates or the residents of our college. Not even one memory. And that actually makes it very hard to cope with his absence. So Thanks a lot, Michael, for being so consistently kind that I can't even focus on one negative memory about you. The very next day after his passing, on Monday, we were supposed to have a conference intervention together, presenting our research on student well-being in residential halls. And I didn't know whether I should attend or cancel it. And in the end, I told my teammates that I would attend to honor his work, and also because he loved collecting this conference attendance certificates. And this is not a joke, because his brother Ken, who's probably watching us online, told me that he actually printed them and collected them at home. So some people collect stamps, and Michael was collecting conference certificates. And so I told my teammates that this is the reason why I want to attend, but the true reason why I wanted to attend was that it was my last chance to present with his name in the PowerPoint next to mine. My last chance to see his name together with mine on the screen. I loved Michael, and our college loved Michael very much, and I'm very grateful that we used to tell him how we valued him. We told him that he was our best SRT, how kind he was. I can't see my speech because my eyes are full of the tears. How kind he was, how special he was for us. So it gives some comfort that he knew before he left us how deeply we actually appreciated him. As many of you know, Michael did a lot of humanitarian work, but I particularly want to focus on one aspect of it. He organized events for domestic helpers in our student village, and it's hard to describe how much these ladies loved him. It is such a pure, real love, that kind of love that you notice just by seeing their interaction, the way they looked at him, the way they gathered around him, and trust that they put in him. Recently, he came up with an idea. He wanted to do small giveaways of gifts that he would purchase himself for them. He thought that even if it was a little quiz or a small activity, he just wanted to find an excuse to give something to his domestic helpers. And that's who Michael was, always thinking, what else I can give, what else I can do. We will always remember his smile, the smile that made everyone feel special. When Michael smiled at you, it felt like the smile was specifically for you, but somehow he had enough encouragement and love for everyone. And I hope that in our college, we can carry forward his attitude, his way of making others feel seen, his habit of celebrating even small achievements of others, his courage to hand over his spotlight, his heart for those who are often overlooked. And now, standing here thinking of all he gave us and all the lives that he touched, I know that we want the chance to know him, to work with him, or in our case, to be led by him. And for that, we will always be grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just would like to thank, on behalf of the organizers, to all of our speakers for sharing their memories and reflections. And I'd like to say thank you very much to everyone who contributed. So right now, there is a short pause. We can actually just look at these pictures. They're not most glamorous pictures you can see. They are the pictures of normal life, of us interacting with Mike. After the short pause, it will take around 4 minutes. I will ask members of the community if there is anyone who would like to share something with us, to share their own thoughts. But for now, Thank you, Mike. And goodbye, my friend. Right now, I would like to invite, if there is amongst us, Dr. George Hengzi Liu. Yes, can I invite you, actually? Please, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming tonight. And this is actually my first time attending a memorial here in Hong Kong U. And I'm not expecting that was Mike's. Mike passed away on a Sunday. So actually, I met Mike at Shunting College. And even from now, Shunting College and still is the only residential college I ever lived in Hong Kong U. And it's also where I arrived, and it's becoming home here at the University of Hong Kong. Mike was the founding resident tutor at the Shunting College. He earned his PhD here in 2014. I was doing mine at the same time in automation and control at mechanical engineering. So over the years, we know each other in just about the every way the Hong Kong U let two people like met each other, which is about as classmates, as mentor, as student, and as colleagues. This is the different stages over time we spend and share here. I served as the resident tutor at the Training College from 2016 to 2018 in parallel with my PhD, and I took the role because the Mike asked me to do so. So everything I know about being a tutor or being a resident tutor is I learned and I watched him to do so. So after I completed my PhD degree in 2019, I went on to work and to start my own business. We never really stopped being in touch. Last month, in June the 19th, we were chatting on the WeChat group and made the usual losing plan. Let's grab a meal, and when the things calm down. But that meal won't happen now. So what I will miss is the same thing where everyone at the SBMS will miss. His smile when he walked into a room, the optimism that nothing seemed to break. His warmth, his unconditional support for colleagues and students, and the way he made our campus feel different every single day. I'm not quite sure whether Mike's family is here, but I would like to tribute to the wider community he served. Please accept my deepest. And what remains is what he left behind. The student he taught, who will go on to become the doctors he helped, he would be. The sisters he reached on every single Sundays, who will remember the Sundays. The colleagues and the students at SBMS and the residential colleges, including the College 1, who will miss the warmth he brought into every room, and the page or the YouTube channels, which will continue to be the place so many people rely on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we also received a letter, the remembrance by Dr. Kwok Fu Jacobus, which is Dr. Manio, former PhD supervisor from the Department of Pharmacology and Pharmacy. Michael obtained his medical degree from the Philippines. After graduation, he started to read more medical journals and realized that he's deeply fascinated by scientific research in the biomedical field. He decided to do a doctorate degree in medicine or related fields. He was accepted to study for PhD degree in the Department of Pharmacology, HKU. At the time, I was looking for a clinician scientist candidate to be my next PhD. Michael's genuine interest in scientific research and admiration of HKU deeply impressed me, and I decided to take him. He gladly accepted the offer and became my PhD student in 2010. We had a few long talks regarding what he wants to work on. At that time, I was collaborating closely with the vascular biology team of the Department of Pharmacology. In my clinical work, I was starting to use more intravenous anesthetic, which was a relatively new drug back then. I noted that vascular effects of this drug seems to be a bit different when used in patients with sepsis clinically. So I suggested Michael to look into this. He subsequently studied this in detail, and this area made the bulk of his final PhD thesis he wrote. Michael, as I remember him, was a dedicated and hardworking student. At the same time, he always also displayed his characteristic Filipino laid-back, relaxed, and cheerful touch of his dedication. He always wore a warm smile on his face and would often cheer up a sometimes highly strung laboratory. At the time, the majority of master and PhD students in the vascular biology laboratory came from mainland China. Naturally, Michael did have a tough time settling in at the beginning, both socially and also he has no background in laboratory research before joining us. It soon turned out his cheerfulness, his relaxed and generous personality was quickly accepted by everybody. He soon became a well-loved member of the team. He was also very active socially outside of the HKU, as he has many good friends and was highly regarded in the Filipino community. Thank you very much for this letter. Can I also ask Dr. Joseph Robles to share a few words?
Good evening, everyone. I have met Mike over 15 years ago during our PhD years. He was with the pharmacology, and I'm with pediatrics. And let me tell you a story about how we met. The first time I met Mike was at the LG1. There's a small cafeteria there near the medical library. Now it's more, I think there are more restaurants there, but before it was just simple, like seats and a small cafeteria. And actually, Mike was introduced to me by David, who was working at the same lab as Mike and who happens to be my classmate in one of the core courses for PhD. So he's the one who introduced me to Mike. Mike lost his keys during that time. And then I offered to help, and then we found his keys. And literally and figuratively, this opened the door to our friendship of more than 15 years. So like a dear friend, and Mike let me into his house, and we stumbled on the stairs of the life here in Hong Kong during and after PhD life. Me, David, and him even worked on some collaborative projects in PhD that even earned a peer-reviewed publication. Us together, we climbed up and down the stairs of life in Hong Kong, the convolutions of finding a job in Hong Kong, rising rent, good and bad bosses and colleagues in Hong Kong. And then he took me to his garden where he nurtures the minds of young people from being a hall tutor in Ritchie Hall. I think I see some of you here who also came from Ritchie Hall. And the jockey clubs in villages in Kennedy Town and then in Wong Chuk Hang. And of course, his role as a dear teacher. He was very excited about that when he started at Hong Kong Metropolitan University and then now with Hong Kong U School of Biomedical Sciences. He also showed me very beautiful and colorful flowers of his garden that he waters regularly. His family in Pampanga, his friends in the States, for example, that he also introduced to me, and folks from his hometown to as far as our common friends in Denmark and Tennessee in the States. And then he took me to his kitchen. And who could ever forget Mike's love for food and the kitchen, cooking, and entertaining? And he usually prepares Filipino dishes and dishes that specifically came from his hometown, which has always been a go-to place for me whenever I feel homesick. Now, Mike has left his home here on earth, and we could only cherish and remember his cheerful, hopeful, and committed ways as a friend, as a son and brother, a mentor, a teacher, a health advocate, and a visionary, with the hope that he finds everlasting peace and comfort now with our Creator. So with that, thank you, Mike, and I feel very fortunate to be here with all of you today to remember his memory. Good evening.
Thank you very much. So is there anyone else who would like to share a short message? Yes, please.
Testing. Good evening. I am very privileged to have worked with Dr. Michael Manio. As Professor Hosa and Dr. Jian Yang mentioned, the HKU Clearing Up program was found by him just 1.5 academic years ago in February. And I have been very privileged to be able to work with Dr. Michael since its inception. To me, Dr. Michael is a very nice leader and also I want to say a very encouraging teacher. My own path to medical school is not exactly very smooth. And so when I met him first in my first semester, in the Introduction to Arts and Sciences of Medicine block, when I first attended his physiology lectures, his human physiology lectures, I was immediately very touched by the support that he had for students and the warmth that he exhibited in his lessons. Fast forward to February, if I remember correctly, Dr. Michael then proposed to us this new initiative on ethnic minorities. And I am very grateful to him that he offered me such an opportunity to also contribute to our community. Since then, with my several of my colleagues who are also in the stage right now, and also with a lot of dear anatomy teachers from the School of Biomedical Sciences, we were privileged to be able to work with him for around 10 sessions in the past 1.5 years. In fact, just before Dr. Michael passed, around 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were just started on a research looking at what the effect of our program was on the community and also on the students, including students from different programs, mainly medical and pharmacy. Dr. Michael's warmth will never leave our team, and we will never forget that. And going forward in the future, we will also be honoring his memory by continuing our program and also hopefully to continue working with the community for the years to come. Thank you, Dr. Sika.
Thank you, Kihiro. Thank you very much for this sharing. So we can hear actually that Mike was planning even 2 weeks ago. We all were planning our next year, and it was suddenly abrupted. May I also ask one more person actually to share, if there is anyone else to share?
Hello, my name is Dominic. I am a first-year medical student here at HKU Med. And as Dr. Seacott just mentioned, it's quite rare for lecturers to remember their students' names. And I'll say it's just as rare for us students to remember the lecturers' names. It is, maybe it's because certain lectures are boring and certain lectures are not useful. But what I can confidently tell you that is every single one of our students in M31 definitely remembers Dr. Manio's name. It has been over 6 months since we've had a lecture from Dr. Manio, but I think we can all remember his lectures on membrane excitability, action potentials, transmission of nerve impulses, autonomic control of the nervous system. Those were months ago, and I can guarantee you that every single M31 student can recall those lectures and who taught those lectures. And I hope I can convince you in the next few minutes that he is probably one of the most impactful lecturers we've had so far. So I remember, over the summer, I've been interning at the HKU Eye Center, which is located in Wangzhoukan, right next to Village 4. And I received the news while I was at work Monday afternoon. He passed on Sunday. I received the news by looking at the Instagram story of Dr. Enoch Chan. And all of us just could not handle it. Like, we just dropped everything on our workstations. And because we were working with a biomedical student and another MBBS student. And we just dropped everything we were doing. He is a very important person, obviously. But being there in Wangzhoukan, knowing that he was only a few hundred meters away where he passed away, so close yet so far. And that Monday afternoon, after we received the news, we had to take an early leave home, back to I planned on going back to my dorm, but then I decided to go to Village 4. I don't stay there. I don't live there or anything, but I just wanted to go there and kind of feel his presence. I walked over there. I stood on the street for about 5 minutes or so, just remembering the wonderful moments we've had with Dr. Michael Manio. And his lectures were never boring. I even pulled up, like on my phone, on Ponampo, one of his lectures, just to really hear his voice once again. And after that, I went back to my dorm in St. John's College, and on my way, like my PBL group, my St. John's MBBS group, all of the WhatsApp groups, we were talking about this within half an hour of the post being online. And in St. John's College, a lot of medical students, we gathered around at dining hall. It was dinner time, and we kind of just sat together in silence, remembering Dr. Manio. We had year ones all the way to year 4 students, and we all loved him. He was just as important to every single one of us. So yeah, I think that's about it. Just like to say thank you, Dr. Manio, for giving us such a wonderful lecture and helping me pass my summatives. We'll always remember you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you very much for that. We come close to this evening of remembrance. I think that right now we can see that his life was complex, maybe not complicated, but complex. Each and every person actually looked at him from different perspective. We know him as the friend, as the lecturer, as the tutor, as the college senior, and each and every part of his life seems to be that it was full. It was fullness of life in each and every part. And I think that it's a very, very strong message, especially for me personally. Once again, Michael, thank you very much for everything what you have done to all of us. Thank you very much. I would like to invite you also to leave personal messages. They could be in the written form here or at the entrance to the lecture theater. You can also leave the video message. There is a special video message corner, kindly coordinated by College 1 tutor, Mr. Ali Chu. These messages will be shared with Dr. Smike's family and as our lasting expression of love, respect, and gratitude. Thank you very much again for being here. Thank you very much, the team, for organizing this evening. And may we continue to remember Michael through the example he set, the lives he touched, and the legacy he leaves behind. Good night.